Good morning. The September 8th, good morning, everyone. September 8th Executive Committee meeting is called to order. First, I'd like to ask our interpreter to explain how to access interpretation.
Hi, hello, everyone. So this is an announcement from the interpreter. So to use the interpretation feature, please scroll to the bottom of the Zoom screen where the meeting controls are. Click on the interpretation icon, the world, and select English as your language. If you're joining through the Zoom mobile app, cell phone, tablet, otherwise, please press the ellipsis and then interpretation and then choose your language. Finally, click on mute original audio to not hear the original Spanish low in the background. Headsets are available for interpretation. If you are in the meeting room, please check out a headset from the receptionist in the lobby. Hola, ¿qué tal a todos? Este es un aviso por parte del intérprete. Para poder hacer uso del servicio de interpretación, favor de desplazarse a la parte inferior de la pantalla de Zoom donde aparecen los controles. Haga clic en el icono de interpretación, el globo terráqueo, y seleccione Spanish o español. Si está utilizando la aplicación móvil de Zoom, celular, tableta y demás, presione los puntos suspensivos. Luego interpretación y luego el idioma. Si no desea escuchar el audio original en inglés en el fondo, por favor seleccione Mute Original Audio, que es silenciar audio original. Contamos con auriculares disponibles para el servicio de interpretación. Si se encuentra en la sala de reunión, favor de pedir auriculares con la recepcionista del vestíbulo.
All right, muchas gracias. Thank you. Before we start, I'm just really happy to see everyone, so welcome back. Before we start, we're going to start our meeting with our tribal acknowledgement. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the land we call home. The tribal nations of the San Diego region have historically faced injustices, and we acknowledge the harmony that existed between the land, nature, and its original peoples who have since endured displacement, persecution, and systemic oppression. We pay our respect to the unceded territory and homelands of the 18 tribal nations in our region, the most in any county in the United States, from our cultural groups, the Kumeyaay, the Diegueño, the Luiseño, the Cupeño, and the Kuya. This land has nourished, healed, protected, and embraced them for many generations in a relationship of balance and harmony. As members of SANDAG community, we acknowledge this legacy and we aspire to learn from Indigenous traditional knowledge and experience in undoing the injustices of the past. Now, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tessa, could you please call roll?
Good morning. For the City of San Diego, Councilmember Vivian Moreno. Present. County of San Diego, Chairwoman Vargas.
Vargas present.
East County, Mayor Vasquez. Here. North County Coastal, Second Vice Chair Huebner.
Present.
North County Inland, Mayor Jones.
Jones here.
South County is absent. And also present are advisory members, ex officio Chair of Transportation Committee, Councilmember Shu.
Here.
And Chair of Audit Committee, Deputy Mayor Zito.
Zito present.
And that concludes the roll call vote and confirms the quorum.
Thank you. And now I'll share it with all of our other board members later, but congratulations to our first vice chair for his being able to spend some time with his baby, Benicio. And so congratulations to him and his beautiful family. Lots of love for them. So that's why they're not here. All right, with that, we're going to begin our meeting today with a non-agenda public comments. This is for public members, non-agenda. Tessa will state how many public speakers we have. We're going to have 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Chairwoman. We have one virtual public, now we have two virtual public speakers. Blair Beekman, please go ahead.
Hi, Blair Beekman. Happy September. Thanks for the meeting today. You know, with the shoreline preservation issue yesterday at SANDAG, I was interested how that relates. I've been traveling to Hawaii a lot, Maui actually, in the past few years now. I was learning good lessons about shoreline preservation that I was trying to bring back to SANDAG, that you have to consider using sand issues has to be a bit more cautious, I think, in the future, as the Kaanapali area has had some major worries. Boy, did they do something wrong there? you know, in Maui with these issues. It feels that way. It hurts. Good luck how they can learn important lessons, what California has learned about natural disaster preparedness and doing it, preparing well and not doing it in the name of harm. That's an important lesson to learn that I hope we're learning in California. Thank you.
Our next commenter on this item is the original draw. Please go ahead.
Wow, you're already starting the day off with 1 minute. Nobody's even here. Good on you. And the sad thing is, Blair, is that Maui disaster was man-made. Those storms are man-made, and disaster relief brings in a lot of contracts and a lot of money for people. And unfortunately, they want their smart city there, their 15-minute smart city, just like they want here. And it's so great, right? They had to destroy everybody. And we know what? We don't even, the territory of Hawaii is not even the United States, okay? They're captured territory right now, and we're basically doing a land grab to just completely eradicate their native land. It's so great, right? Yeah, it's very sad because this stuff is going on all around us, and people want to pretend that it is not a nefarious agenda taking place when, you know, Maui's already set to have AI run their government and do a, you know, all clean energy.
Your time expired. That concludes the public comments.
Thank you. Before we get started, I want to acknowledge that this is our first meeting back. And since the announcement that Hassan was stepping down as CEO, we'll be able to chat a little bit more about them and give him thanks for all the work that he's done. But right now, currently working on bringing a CEO recruitment process that is absolutely transparent and community-centered for the board's approval. And I want to make sure that we have engagement and people are able to provide their thoughts about the next steps for the CEO. So I'm really looking forward to working with the board and the community organizations on creating a process together as we move forward. With that, do we have any non-agenda member comments at this time? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Chair. So just kind of going along with what you were mentioning, I think it would be prudent for us as a board to really have a fresh start with the exit of our director. And I personally think that we have two very competent, and I see them here this morning, two very competent vice, I'm not sure if their titles are vice CEO, but assistants, deputies. I think we have two very competent deputies. I think it would be wise for us as an organization to tender the immediate exit of our CEO director, Mr. Okada. I think that for the good of our business and all of our cities, I think it would be prudent for us to have a fresh start. And I really think that would be a way to put some confidence in the actual process and the process in selecting someone new. I think someone that is collaborative, someone that really works hard to not divide us, but to bring us together. And so I would like for, I just wanted to bring this up this morning. So thank you very much for the time, Chair.
Thank you. Any other member comments? Yes, sir.
I just want to make a quick announcement. It's actually the Moon Festival, end of September, and I brought a few moon cakes that's on the other table for executive board members and staff. So please help yourself to there. There's 4 flavors, so you have to choose.
That's very kind. We all need some sweetness in our lives. All right, next item. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the consent calendar. Do we have any public comments? Again, just to remind everyone, public comment will be 1 minute for all the items continuing moving forward.
Thank you, Chairwoman. We have 2 public commenters on the consent agenda. The original draw, please go ahead.
You guys are laughable when you're like, we want to hear from the people. Yeah, so at your last meetings, you were on the 13th, actually, your upcoming meeting, sorry, you're going to be using Transnet to de-incentivize driving, taking money from the drivers to de-incentivize their driving. But your past meetings, yeah, VMT does restrict building in the unincorporated area, and the whole human trafficking and drug stuff that goes on across the border is great because we continue to do business with them and our plans for transit. And good thing we have youth passes because then they can just be really trafficked pretty easy. You know, you just get them across the border and they're gone, right? It's like, but who really cares about that? And then, you know, you guys need to have, you know, alternates because, you know, for these different commissions and whatnot to, you know, accommodate staff schedules. So that's good. I mean, because we can't have you like having to come into work all the time. That would be so ridiculous.
Our next and final speaker on this item, Blair Beekman, please go ahead.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. Good luck with your annual working group reports. That seems like interesting work I'd like to learn more about. Thank you for the work of the previous CEO of SANDAG, and that you'll be considering a new CEO at this time. Interesting examples that he created, I think. So thank you for his service and work. And a quick reminder from what the original DRA just mentioned previously, really good luck how we can address the concepts of natural disaster capitalism at this time. I think we're finding ways to do that to really address sustainability positively and not to use these sort of disaster capitalism models. We're growing past that in California. Good luck how Hawaii can learn those same lessons. Thank you.
And that concludes the public comments.
Thank you very much. Do we have any member comments on the consent agenda? Or any
Actually,
items that you would like to
Yes,
add?
are these working? No, because I pushed the button. Oh, they're not for speakers.
Yeah,
Thank you
but
so much.
You'll have a moment.
Oh, okay, so, yes, Raquel Vasquez here representing East County. I'd like to pull agenda item number 2. Specifically, I'd like to focus in on 2A, and I would like to add a resolution to reduce the health impacts in the 2025 regional plan for the September 22nd board meeting. So I'd like to add that.
Fantastic. Happy to do that.
Yes, we want to make sure that the plan includes options to reduce health impacts. And we want to make sure that that is included in the plan.
Good. Happy to put that on the agenda. Any other comments, items?
I move approval.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't realize we could put something on the agenda. Thank you, Chair. I would like to put on the agenda also that we would discuss taking the road user charge out as a usable funding mechanism for the 2025 update.
Okay, we'll put it on the agenda.
Great.
So I'm going to put these items together of all the resolutions that you all are interested in, and then we'll, based on where we are with the executive committee and the items that are coming up, and then we'll adjust accordingly. The other item that I want to add is an item for SANDAG to take a position on the Tijuana River Valley. I think all of you know, particularly my colleagues on the council in Imperial Beach, and I know my colleague here from the city of San Diego, I know her constituents, our constituents in the Nestor community are really impacted by some of the challenges that are taking place. So putting a resolution together so that we as a board can actually continue to advocate and hoping that this will also be part of our legislative agenda. So it's a little bit of an addendum as we're moving forward because of the challenges that the community is having due to the pollution and all of that. So we're going to go ahead and add that.
Yes, and I'd just like to verify that these items will be heard separately and not lumped in together.
We'll figure out what the best is, and we'll work with staff to put that together so we can make sure what the best process is.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no further discussion, is there a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. We have a motion and a second. Can you please call, we can
do this.
So can we do this?
Yes.
We can vote? So I guess for clarification, we can vote. We just can't use it to be on the queue. All right. we should know this. Thank you.
Mayor Vasquez, if you can just state for the record what your vote would be.
Yes, my vote would be yes.
Thank you. We'll correct the slide after the meeting. And that motion passes unanimously with those members present.
Thank you. All right. The next item on our agenda is item number 5, the Service Bureau Annual Report and Project Prioritization. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Burke. Please go ahead and share.
Good morning, Chairwoman Vargas and Executive Committee. I'm happy to be here today to talk to you about our Service Bureau. This is an information item, and there's 2 goals to this: to provide an update on our FY22 fiscal statement and also give you an update on where we are with our priority projects. So Service Bureau is a fee-based service that has been in operation for about 20 years, and we're the only MPO in California that actually provides this Service Bureau type of service, modeling for either our member jurisdictions, other government agencies, or private entities. And the issue with Service Bureau projects is that the model that we use to do our regional transportation planning isn't based for these small level geographies that many of these projects entail. For example, seeing what the effect of putting a gas station might be in, and it requires extensive land use conversions. And FY22, because of having to change over with the new model with the 2021 plan, we actually had a deficit of about $11,000. It's described in the report. And this is 1 of 3 years since we started Service Bureau that we have had a deficit. Because we stopped modeling for our Service Bureau projects when we started working on the 2021 Regional Plan Amendment, we expect that there will be continued deficiencies, deficits when we come back to you with our FY23 report also. Board Policy 12 states that the Executive Committee is the governing body for Service Bureau and helps us to set priority projects. And you did that for us in December of 2017 when we noted that it was most appropriate for us to focus on our regional planning for the regional plan, as well as other priority projects, then to support government agencies, our member agencies, and then private developers. So we'd like to continue with that prioritization. What our plan would be is that we finish the current jobs we have in the queue for your member agencies. There are 5 that could be completed by May of 2024, when we'll begin focusing on the modeling for, again, the 2025 regional plan. At that point, we would not be doing any Service Bureau projects from May of 2024 to December of 2025. When the regional plan is then accepted by this board, we would have a new version of our transportation model, which would require those land use conversions again. So during this period of time when we can't be doing Service Bureau projects, we'd be working with your jurisdictions to offer alternatives through potentially consultant services or other rapid strategic models to ensure that you're able to do the analysis you may need for your general plan updates. But we'd be looking at a different business model again because of the challenges we've had of being able to complete our regional modeling as well as doing those Service Bureau projects. So this is an information item, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Oh, I should do public comment first. Let me go ahead and do public comment first.
We have 1 public commenter on this item, the original draw. Please go ahead.
You know, I think it also is a little bit ridiculous that it costs, you know, more, almost $40,000 for the staff, and the expenses are, you know, $75,155 when you're only bringing in so much. Like, it just doesn't seem like, I mean, obviously you're going to be losing money, but you guys do this all the time. You change the way you model stuff, and then you blame that on why it's not able to make money. But also, you were saying that after 2025, you won't even fund the changes for a new version that it required for projects. So I'm just wondering what is going to happen with that. But I mean, just like everything, you guys don't manage your money well, so it's not a surprise you're in a deficit. But yeah.
And that concludes the public comments.
Thank you. Do we have any member comments on this item? All right, seeing none, this is an information item only, so there's no further discussion. So we're going to move on to item number 6. The executive committee is being asked to adopt a resolution to approve the dissolution of SourcePoint. I'll hand it back over to Dr. Burke to explain this resolution. Dr. Burke.
Great. So yes, this is an action item, and SourcePoint was actually around prior to Service Bureau. It started in 1982 and created a nonprofit organization that could do work that was similar to Service Bureau. And it continued after Service Bureau went into effect for individuals who wanted to be able to work with a nonprofit organization. As the annual report shows that's in your packet, the net position of SourcePoint in FY22 was around 210,000. But no project or outside entity has used SourcePoint in 8 years, and we haven't used it internally since FY 2022. Because there's no need and it only incurs cost to do these annual audits, we're recommending dissolution as outlined in the resolution 2024-01, with any remaining assets distributed to SANDAG's general fund to be used for public purposes.
Thank you. Tessa, could we have any public comments on this item, please?
Thank you, Chairwoman. We have one public commenter, the original draw. Please go ahead.
I'd like to know where that $209,507 is going to go. Because you guys will just put it in the fund and then who knows, it'll just, magically disappear and it'll, not really go towards anything. Because it seems that yeah, you guys love to just spend our money to destroy stuff. And so, I'm wondering what that would go to. Would that go to like, I don't know, trafficking a child across the border, like giving them a youth pass, right? We could do that just so that they can be abducted. I mean, even just riding around on transit, in the county. I mean, even just going to school, right, Nora? I mean, we were just having at the Board of Supervisors talking about kids being trafficked through their schools, and then we're just going to go tell them. Luckily, we're going to let them know that they're going to be trafficked there. But I mean, are we really going to tell them that they'll actually be trafficked at that facility? Because I don't know if that's smart. Then we can't really traffic them. I mean, as long as you just tell them they're being trafficked in general, but not really the place that they go to school every day. Yeah, so I'm just wondering how many kids is that going to help traffic?
Thank you. Your time expired. And Chairwoman, I do have one more hand raised for this item, public comments. Blair Beekman, please go ahead.
Hi, Blair Beekman. Thank you for allowing my public comment at this time. I wanted to comment that Santa Clara County in the San Francisco Bay Area, where I'm initially from, they're doing a lot of interesting work, kind of like leveling the playing field between, what was traditional expected practices and bringing in kind of new ideas to them. It hurts when that happens to hurt old previous expectations. In some ways, it can do something interesting. They're talking a lot about nonprofits and corporate structure, how they can work on more equal terms and have equal standards and practices. Please, in that argument, please don't forget the importance of nonprofits and how their thinking originally has been created to not work for profit. That's an interesting, important concept to consider. Thank you.
That concludes the public comments.
Thank you. Do we have any member comments? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
Approval.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Yay. We got
That motion passes unanimously with those members present.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have an update from our government relations team on the SANDAG legislative and policy activities. I can't believe you're actually here since today is the last day for amendments on bills. So I'm sure you're super exhausted. And I know I've been working on this stuff the whole week. So go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairwoman, Second Vice Chair, and board members. I'm Hannah Stern. I'm here to present the federal legislative report. It's been fairly quiet legislatively in DC due to members being on their state and district work periods. But we've had the pleasure of hosting a few administration officials here in San Diego during the break. So just yesterday, we hosted the Senior Advisor to the President and Director of Intergovernmental Affairs at the White House, Tom Perez. We had Transportation Committee Chair Shu join us at that event. So we joined him to tour recent federal investments in San Diego. We started at the airport and looked at the new T1 terminal, and then came over to the Old Town Transit Center in recognition of our recent rail crossing elimination grant award. In addition to that, we had the Assistant Secretary for Transportation Policy, Christopher Coase, join us. He came in recognition of the RAISE grant that we received for the Palomar Transit Center reconfiguration project, which will ultimately eliminate a grade separated rail crossing. So that has been very exciting. And now we have our members back in DC, where they will be embarking on funding the federal government, which will probably be a challenging process for them. They're also working on the FAA reauthorization and the Farm Bill, which are two pieces of legislation we'll be following closely. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jose to give the state report.
Good morning, Chairwoman and committee members. My name is Jose Alvarez. I'm here to give you a brief update on latest in Sacramento. The legislature returned from summer recess on the 14th of August, and they have until the 14th of September to pass all bills from both chambers. The governor will have until October 14th to veto or sign all bills received. Our SANDAG-sponsored Assembly Bill 427, authored by Assemblymember Alvarez, has passed the Assembly floor as of August 24th and is now in the governor's desk, ready for a signature. We have sent a letter to the governor requesting his signature. And just to remind you, AB 427 clarifies that SANDAG can use a construction manager, general contractor contracting method for the Otay Mesa East Port of Entry project. A couple more updates on pertinent bills. Assembly Bill 7 by Assemblymember Friedman, which requires CalSTA, Caltrans, and the CTC to incorporate climate action plan for transportation infrastructure principles to be included in these agencies' programs, guidelines, and planning processes, is now pending a Senate floor vote. So we should see movement on that next week, most likely. Similarly, Assembly Bill 610 by Assemblymember Holden, the Youth Transit Pass pilot program, which would grant transit agencies grants to create or expand fare free transit programs statewide for college students and K through 12 students, is also pending a Senate floor vote, and we may see that being voted on next week. Senate Bill 617 by Senator Newman, the Progressive Design Build Public Contracts for Transit Projects bill, would authorize transit districts and regional transportation agencies alongside other consolidated agencies the authority to use the Progressive Design Build process for up to 10 public works projects in excess of $5 million each is pending a governor's signature. With that said, I'll look to next meeting to bring you a final update on the bills of interest to SANDAG that were signed or vetoed by the governor. And thank you for your time.
I guess it's my turn now, Jose. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. So I'm very pleased to share with you some notes from the border. And from border crossings, which is just part of the mobility at the border, I want to report that these are just growing. And a few weeks ago, Customs and Border Protection reported that the 3 local land port of entries registered an average increase of 20% in number of crossings as compared to pre-pandemic numbers. This means that most likely that our large cross-border community, those that San Diegans that sleep in Tijuana and come back every day, is growing. And of course, our Mexican neighbors are also crossing since the restrictions have been lifted. But today I want to offer you a very brief update on the Tijuana River sanitation. Last month in August, early in August, authorities from both countries held a high-level meeting in Mexico City to discuss progress on Minute 328. And this is the agreement in force since August of 2022, where the two countries reflect the 17 sanitation projects to be developed in Tijuana and San Diego. The authorities that participated in this meeting included the ambassador of the United States in Mexico, Mr. Ambassador Honorable Ken Salazar. Also the EPA Pacific Southwest Regional Administrator Marta Guzman, both the US and the Mexican commissioners of the International Boundary and Water Commission, Maria Elena Giner and Adriana Reséndez, and also included Mexico's Water Commission, CONAGUA, Director Germán Arturo Martinez, and Roberto Velasco from SRE, and representatives from the state of Baja California. The projects committed in Minute 328 represent an investment of almost $500 million over a period of 5 years. These projects include, among others, doubling the capacity of the South Bay International Wastewater Treatment Plant in the United States, which treats wastewater from Tijuana, and the rehabilitation and adaptation of the treatment plant in San Antonio Los Buenos in Mexico, as well as the rehabilitation of the primary sewage lines and pumping plants in Tijuana. In the meeting, Mexico reported the completion of repairs of the PV-SILA, which is the pump station that diverts water from the city to the city's Tijuana sanitation system, and also the rehabilitation of the pump station in Laureles 1, which actually began operations last week. The United States reported that preparations are underway to award a contract for the design of the South Bay International Wastewater Treatment Plant expansion in the summer of next year. And with this, I conclude my report.
Can we go ahead and go to public comment?
Thank you, Chairwoman. We have 2 virtual public commenters on this item. The original draw, please go ahead.
I was like, you want me to talk and just not have anybody hear it? Sounds good. So I identify as the governor, and I would like to veto all of these bills because we need to be sending money to Ukraine. I don't understand why we're doing this with Mexico. We really just need to get Ukraine all of the money as possible because they need to, ramp up their military and stuff, and we need to be laundering money out of Ukraine. So to be treating the wastewater of Mexico, I think we should just, take that money and why treat it? I mean, let's just give people that sewer water, right? Why don't we just bottle it up? Because I think that that's far better, right? And then we can just give it back to Mexico that way and say, we're selling you, very, very clean, pure poo water. And just don't worry about the brown chunks. It is, TJ local grown, right? And it's so fantastic. So no to all of this. Let's go.
Thank you. Your time expired. Our final speaker on this item, Blair Beekman, please go ahead.
Hi, Blair Beekman. Thanks a lot for this item. Thanks a lot for the report on Tijuana water systems going on right now. That was positive. On the negative side, to add to the words of DRA, that a lot of federal funding dollars are going to the Ukraine war, to natural disaster emergency things in Hawaii at this time, and part of that package is they're going to be putting a lot more money into the border of San Diego to address fentanyl issues. A lot more Custom and Border Patrol people. So we have to be really wary about how to use those sort of dollars, and just be really mindful that when you get dollars meant for war and natural disaster capitalism practices, be careful, and let's do it better down here into the local level. Thanks.
That concludes the public comments.
Thank you. Yes.
One comment. Thank you, Chairwoman. Good morning to all of you. So I just want to tell you how amazing your federal and state team is. Hannah, Jose, Hector, and the rest of the team. I was in Sacramento with the team a couple of weeks ago. And I can tell you that this agency is well respected in both Washington and Sacramento. Meeting with the heads of the departments in the governor's office, they flat out say that we trust SANDAG with our money. And that's really important. And that doesn't happen in vacuum. That happens because we have an amazing team here who works hard day in and day out. And I really do think that the respect for this agency and the desire to do innovative, creative stuff is going to continue because of the amazing team that you see in front of you. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
So Chair Vargas, I just wanted to give a quick report of the meeting that occurred yesterday with the White House Representative Antonio Perez. And really commend the staff that put on well, they had 20 minutes. So the presentation was very good at Caltrans. Director Delago did a great job, as well as SANDAG staff, in providing so much information to really show how important the Lausanne corridor was, the projects that were getting funded by the federal government. And it's hard to put that much information in a meaningful way in such a short time. We could have talked about the petty stuff, but we didn't. It was some very good graphic information as well as discussion for that short 20 minutes. So I just wanted to make that note. There's a lot of federal money that's being made available in the years to come, and it's important that our region gets every dollar we can to help deal with great separation projects, tunneling the Lausanne corridor, double tracking it, and how important that was. And I think we did a great job yesterday expressing that to Mr. Perez. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for attending. And I'll just share that I was not able to make the meeting here, but I was able to meet with Mr. Perez beforehand, and so also was able to highlight. So I think he heard it from all of us in different places, some of the big initiatives and projects, and really thanking the Biden administration for the bipartisan infrastructure bill and some of the resources that are coming down, and how do we make sure that they are, funding continues to come to San Diego, East Otay Mesa to North County, and get things done. So thank you for that. And thank you for all of your work. I know this is a crunch time, so appreciate it. With that, there is no action item on this. Yes, ma'am. Of course.
Sorry, I would push my button, but
No, there's no
doesn't work.
button to push. I just didn't see your apologies.
I just wanted to say, any efforts in grade separation are very important for all of our communities. When I think about my lowest income area and the oldest part of our city, the Richmar area, it would be very important, I would say, to our city, that, and I know Vista also has a lot of those locations, North County as a whole, not just the Sprinter, but then all along the coast, on the coaster as well. Grade separation, when you've got, bisecting our communities, we have one of the busier crossings at the Marcos Street crossing, and we do have, barriers up, but it's still people do jump the fence, and unfortunately still, kids don't really understand how serious it is. So anything we can do in grade separations, in just overall, not even just, like in my city, but I think overall, I think we really appreciate those efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, with that, we will have our next executive committee meeting on Friday, October 13th, the day before my birthday, at 9 a.m. With that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.